Good morning, everyone. Connie Myers here with Kick Butt Leadership Interview Series. I have a good friend. We were a part of a mastermind group for a period of time, and I'm so excited. He's always fun to talk to. And if you saw in my title, I mentioned Fire Glass Walk. Well, this is the guy you want to talk to. Dave Album, thank you so much for joining me.
Hi, Connie. Great to be here.
Yeah. So Dave and I met about 3 years ago, and it was the first night of our mastermind group weekend, and nobody was aware of what was going to happen, including me. And we all show up on the back porch, and here is this pile of glass, and we're all supposed to walk on this glass. Now, being the age that I'm in, I never thought in a million years that you would get me walking on glass. Never, 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 never. And so they're saying, okay, you don't have to do it, but you're in this mastermind group and you're kind of like not wanting to be a chicken about it. So I volunteered to be first because I knew if I was last, I would never do it. So what an experience it was. And then if that wasn't enough, the next morning we all get together and we break arrows with our throats. Again, somebody would have said I was going to do something like that. No. The good news is I think maybe that he was planning a fire walk, but when we were in Dallas, it was raining, so it couldn't happen. Anyway, Dave, so tell me, first of all, how did you get into doing all the fire and glass walking?
Wow. Well, it goes back several years. I went to my first Tony Robbins seminar in 1995, and a friend talked me into going, and he didn't tell me there was a fire walk. And you get there, and the next thing Tony, it was a Tony Robbins seminar, and Tone took the stage at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Next thing I know, he's got 3,500 people out in a parking lot with a giant fire, and everybody screaming, "Yes, yes!" And there's African drums, and you've been in a room for 10 hours with the guy, and I still wasn't going to do it. I hid out in the back. And of course, that's not a good strategy because Tony's people know where all the cowards are. So somebody came and found me, and they encouraged me, and they actually helped me do it. And it was literally, without a doubt, the most transformational thing I had ever done. And it paid off just like that. I mean, my whole brain reprogrammed, and I'm asking people after I did it, I didn't believe it. I'm like, did you just firewalk? Yeah. Did you burn yourself? No. Everybody's telling me no. And the magic really was, yes, that evening was unbelievable. My brain was just on overload that you could literally walk on hot coals that are 1,000 degrees and not burn or even hurt yourself. But the next day is where it got interesting for me, because now I'm with 3,000 people, 3,500 people, and we had a bond and a connection unlike anything I'd ever felt. And that's when, so I built off the momentum of that. And then, as you know, my story, Connie, I went to work for Tony. I ended up working for him for almost 20 years. I took over all his firewalks globally in 2003. And then in 2014, Google called us and wanted us to do a gig for them in Mountain View for 140 executives. And that's when the light bulb went off. That's when I went, oh, whoa, okay, Google's calling you to do this. So how many other companies could you be doing this for? And then, of course, that's when Firewalk Adventures, if you will, was the genesis. And next thing I know, I'm at NASA. Next thing I know, I'm at Notre Dame. Next thing I know, I'm back at Google. The next thing I know, I'm doing business with all these big companies. And it was just like an absolute dream come true.
So, what is it that changed in your brain? What happened? For me, I was like, oh, I really can do this. For me, able to do something I didn't think was possible.
Yeah, there's always that element, right? Because what doesn't challenge you doesn't change you. I think people right now are recognizing real with crystal clarity how debilitating fear can be. we're in a time right now that fear is at an all-time high about everything. They're worried about everything. They're worried about the economy. They're worried about the virus. They're worrying about their families. They're worrying about, anything and everything. And so really what it comes down to, why would you do these kinds of things and create these kinds of experiences, is that because it's a way to control and optimize state management. So now I don't know, Con, if you can hear me, but I just lost your visual. And it looks like I've lost the audio. Can you hear me? Let's see here. I don't know. I don't know if they can hear me or not. So it looks like you might be having, it looks like I'm clear. There you go. You're back. There was a pretty big lag there. You hear
I'm
me?
back now. Yeah. I can hear you now. Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's okay. And so really it comes down to how well you manage your state. People are just glued to either social media or the mainstream media or whatever. Well, here's the thing. The mainstream media, they understand fear and they know how to project it. They know how to get you to respond to it. They know how to lock you into their programs. And so they understand it real well. The question is, how well do you understand it? How well can you just walk away from it? So for me, my take on kind of what's going on right now is I kind of maintain this idea that life's not as bad as it seems. Life's not as good as it seems. Reality is somewhere in the middle. And that's where I suggest we all spend our time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think right now, I mean, the biggest thing is fear, and the biggest thing is what's going to happen next. And I do think we're going to come out the other end with a new normal, for sure.
Yeah, I agree 100%. People go, when are we going to get back to normal? Ain't going to happen. There is no back to normal. Back to normal wasn't working. You know what I love? People are asking, I've always believed, ask a quality question, you'll get a quality answer. Ask an empowering question, you'll get an empowering answer. And so for me, it's like some people are asking, so what's the takeaway on this? What good have you seen come of this? Well, the first thing we noticed was that dark cloud over China and all their manufacturing went away, right? We noticed that the fish in Venice, even white dolphins returned to the water. One of my buddies, I grew up in Southern California, and of course, I live here in the beautiful western part of the state of North Carolina, in the Appalachian Mountains, and I live here by choice. I live here because I have really clean water and I have really clean air, and we have 3 cases of this virus in our county, so I'm not freaking out like I would live in New York or Chicago or some big city. And food's fine. We have, lots of farms and things around us. So, we're just processing and dealing with this differently. But my buddy that still lives in Southern Cal, he showed me a picture from his house one day. And normally, sometimes you can see the mountains, sometimes you can't from where he lives. And they were just like, you could reach out and touch them. It had snowed. The snow was down to like 2,500 feet. Mount Baldy, that whole mountain range was just so vivid. And I remember that as a kid. When I say a kid, grammar school, because I was in grammar school in the 60s. So, and now we're seeing that elsewhere. We're seeing where the air is clean and the planet recovers so quickly. The planet's going to make it, right? And the question is, for people is, hey, you have to decide what meaning you're going to give all this. Every single thing that happens in our lives, we assign a meaning to it. We create a story. And that story either empowers us or it disempowers us. So I would be very, very careful about what we tell ourselves. So again, I don't know if you can hear me or not. Looks like I lost you again, Connie. So I don't know if any of what I'm saying here is being recorded. So I've lost you, sweetie. I don't know. Looks like we may have to try this again.
Well, it looks like we may have lost Dave. Let's see here. I'm sure he'll come back up. Sorry about that. Let's give it just another minute for him to come back up. What he's talking about is absolutely true. I think there's going to be a major new normal that's happening when we do come out of the other side of this. Hopefully he'll be back. I'm going to see if he's texting me. Ah, here he comes, I think. I think I'm seeing him. Dave, are you there? Dave, can you come back up? Oh, we may have lost him for good. I don't know. Anyway, okay, he's going to try and get back on. He just texted me. Anyway, so here's the thing about what's going on now. Many of you are feeling very fearful and very afraid of what's going to happen next. I can tell you that this is a true crystalline moment. And crystalline means sparkly or clear, so moments of clarity. And that means that there's always a gift or opportunity in that. And yes, it's going to be a new normal, but the new normal will be totally different. Anyway, I am grateful that Dave is able to share some of his insights, because once you've done these fire walks or these glass walks with him and his team, it changes your mindset. So maybe it isn't a fire walk or a glass walk that you can do, but there are things that you can do that will put you back on. So back on track and put you into a better place. A resilient mindset is a mindset that builds back better and builds back even more. So being able to do something like that is extremely, it puts you in a better state of mind, but also it helps you to recover. When it's time for us to recover, you're going to feel much better about it. So here, okay, he's back. Awesome. Oops. Hi, Dave.
Hi, Connie.
Okay, so I was just talking about the fact that if we have a resilient mind, which is what the firewalks and things like that do for you, that you come out the other end being a little more resilient and able to bounce back if there's hardships or things that happen. And in my disaster course, I talk about having a resilient mindset. The emergency management people all talk about resilience, whether it's in a community or whether it's individuals or businesses or whatever. And one of the things that really creates a resilient mindset is doing practices. So maybe people don't have a lot of spare glass or don't know how to build a fire to walk on. What is something they might be able to do at home that you could recommend that they could do when they're still being at home?
Well, the number one way to deal with fear is breathing. It always has been. I mean, think about it. If anytime we're watching a professional athlete get ready to start their performance, or whether it's ice skating or whether it's the cage fighting or whatever, you always see them taking huge cleansing breaths. So typically, exhilaration is fear without the breath.
Oh, I love that.
If that makes sense, right? Because what do people do when they get fearful? They stop breathing. And when you cut off your body from oxygen, the fear raises itself. Fear is something that's so important to get under control, because if you live for 1 minute in a fearful state, that can drop your immune system for up to 2 hours. And that's
Wow.
not good. That's
not good.
Not only
not now.
Good, not now, not ever, right?
Right.
You don't ever want to do that. And of course, we heard the only thing we stand to fear is fear itself. And
Absolutely.
most of us make stuff up. I mean, we just, a lot of the things that we fear never happen. It never transpires, and it never comes forth. And so, how do you off balance that? Laughter, endorphins. Years ago, I did some. I was around Dr. Norman Cousins, who had cured himself with laughter, with endorphins, and so he taught gut laughing. And gut laughing is, your whole body, your whole immune system just comes alive when you're laughing, and your body is in that state, and all those chemicals are there to design to work in connection with keeping your immune system at an all-time high. So. Yeah, what is fear? What's the acronym?
Yeah, laughter is important, really important. I actually, the last 2 to 70 and Beyonds, I've talked about laughter, included something funny at the end to show, and because you can't be fearful and laughing at the same time. It's impossible.
You can't. Yeah.
So why not laugh yourself through this?
Well, and there's the other side of it too, and that is fear does not exist where gratitude is present. So that's why a lot of the gurus out there get you to wake up every morning and write the 10 things that you're grateful for every single day. And it programs you to go out and go, wow, I am grateful. I've got food. I live in a beautiful place. I've got family. I've got, you start to stack all this stuff. And yet if you're on mainstream media and just being bombarded, I mean, it's like, how can you expect to have any serenity and peace at all if that's what you're doing? So you have to decide, what is fear? The acronym, is it face everything and rise, or forget everything and run? Right? So which one is it? We like to say in AA, false images appearing real.
Wow. I had not heard that before. Wow.
That's one of my favorite. That and the whole idea of living one day at a time. If you're watching mainstream media and you're projecting into the future, you are not in the moment. It's not going to happen. Just like Eckhart Tolle taught in his book, The Power of Now. That's where you've got to stay. You don't know what's going to happen.
No.
You just don't. So just, go have a cookie and calm down. Take a walk. A lot of people don't realize how powerful it is to go outside, take your shoes off, and put your feet in the grass or in a stream or a creek, and let let Mother Earth pull all those negative ions out of your body.
Absolutely.
Meditation, so there's so many tools, and just many of us just flat out are not using them and suffering. There's no reason that we have to suffer that way. Just
meditation is so powerful, and Oprah and Deepak Chopra have a free meditation on their site right now, and it's called Hope in Uncertain Times. And if you've never ever been onto there and listened to any of their meditations, it's normally you get like 5 days to watch it, and you watch it day by day, and you don't get all of it. They've got it all on there. It's all free. And it's definitely, it's called Hope in Uncertain Times. And if you're not a meditator, it's a good way to start because they talk a little bit about what each day is. It's a 21-day meditation program. So
Right. Yep.
if people are out there, that's a good way to start taking and doing meditation. I agree. Meditation, I think, is one of the best ways of all for us to calm ourselves and to bring ourselves present. And then writing three things you're grateful for, and then also writing the successes you had from the day before.
Yeah.
Because that totally changes the chemistry of your brain.
Yep, absolutely. And of course, the 21 days and the 90-day time frames, 21 days develops a habit, 90 days develops a lifestyle. And so when you incorporate it into, and that's why AA, right, Alcoholics Anonymous, what do? They tell you to do 90 meetings in 90 days. And then that way you can start to realize that this is a way of life, that sobriety and not drinking, using the fundamentals of one day at a time, can be a completely life-changing experience.
Wow.
In addition to doing all the other work that you need to do that are incorporated, into the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Right. Well, Dave, it's always fun talking with you. I miss seeing you. We have to figure out how to either I get to North Carolina or you get to Las Vegas, one of the two, after we're over all this.
I've been to Vegas. It's a little, it's a lot prettier here in terms of all the things we can do here. Where I live, Connie, is spectacular.
Well, I love that whole Asheville area and a surrounding area.
Yeah.
I went to a writer's retreat up in the mountains. I forget the name of it's a retreat that's been there since the 30s. And they have all kinds of quilting retreats and writing retreats and all. Mm-hmm. And I was there for a week and it was in the fall. It was just spectacular.
Yeah. The Blue Ridge Parkway is right over there, just a few miles from my house. And it's one of the most traveled. It's been noted that it's the most beautiful highway in America, in the world. And, more people visit the Blue Ridge than Yosemite, the Grand Canyon, and Yellowstone combined. So
wow.
It's pretty spectacular.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Sorry for the technical difficulties, everybody, but hey, the last time we were on, there was all this noise going on. So, hey, there has to be something.
Yeah, of course. That's right. All right. You take care of yourself, sweetie.
All right. Take care.
We'll catch up soon.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I'll be back again later with another great interview, part of my Kick Butt Leadership series. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye now.
Ciao.